we allow certain behavior to continue because we're trying to keep certain people in our lives. And unfortunately, some people should not be in our lives. Whether it's friends, family, or business acquaintances, some people do not belong in your life. The sooner you can get them out, the better you're gonna be. I went to therapy for 2 years after my last breakup, trying to figure out what I did wrong. And I realized, you know what? It wasn't all me. Because in the beginning, I thought it was. And doing that actually helped out a lot. It taught me how to listen. It taught me how to ask myself questions and have a better understanding. And I think that for many years, I thought I knew it all. And clearly I didn't. And that's one thing I appreciate about the fact that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, all right, now we're finally getting into a good groove. We're finally understanding and things are starting to make sense. Inner peace, first of all, you got to know what not having peace is to really understand peace. So, unfortunately, I have had some rough moments where I'm like, I am miserable.
Really?
I am freaking miserable. And not because of my work. I love what I do. It is the greatest feeling in the world. But there are things in life, not just your career. There's, regular everyday life, the people that you engage with. And there have been serious moments where I'm like, I am so unhappy right now. So once those things are taken care of or they're gone, when you talk about having peace and feeling good, knowing what true misery is helps you really understand what peace is.
Wow.
And I don't think you can have one without the other. And so you gotta know, you gotta be able to bleed to know what it's like to feel good.
Wow.
And I think that starting off this year, 2024, I feel so good. And I haven't said that in so long. I feel really, really good, and I feel happy, and I feel like I'm in a good direction, and I'm in a good place in life right now.
Congrats, man. What do you think has been the darkest or most miserable moments you've had?
I think that feeling confused is something that it definitely is painful. Not knowing, living in a gray area of confusion, not being able to have clarity and understanding, especially in relationships, not knowing where you stand. And a lot of times I think we're the ones responsible for that because we allow certain behavior to continue because we're trying to keep certain people in our lives. And unfortunately, some people should not be in our lives. And that is a hard pill to swallow as well, because as much as whether it's friends, family, or business acquaintances, some people do not belong in your life. And the sooner you can get them out, the better you're going to be. And unfortunately, there was times when I didn't just have days or months or a year. I've allowed situations to go on for a very long time because I didn't want to be the bad guy to pull the plug.
Really?
And so I took on the pain and the frustration and the issues because I didn't want to be the bad person who said, let me hit the stop button. Because I didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't doing myself any favors by not stopping or correcting certain things that were happening.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I've been I'm a slow learner sometimes, and I have to go through a lot of pain in order to learn lessons. And I had many long-term relationships, intimate relationships that I should have been out of much years before I got out of them, and dealt with a lot of pain by trying to people please, by trying to change myself to keep someone happy that was just never going to be happy with me. And so I can relate to that feeling. When did you feel like you learned that lesson, or what shifted inside of you that allowed you to say, okay, I can no longer be this way anymore with this person or these people in my life?
I'm still learning, and it's one of those things where maybe this period of time was good and helpful, and it allowed growth and joy and happiness. But then maybe letting it go this long just kind of like it's going down, and now it's going in the opposite direction. So I'm still learning and I'm still adjusting, and the people that I've started with are not the people that are always the ones you start with are not always the ones you end with. And fortunately, there have been many people that are still in my life that I've been on this quest with for so many years. For example, like my team, the team of people that I have, I still have the same manager and agent that I've had for God, like 20 years now.
Wow.
You know, and it's awesome, and the fact that we've all grown together has been awesome. The same promoter as well.
Wow.
So I've been very in a business of show business. You're always jumping around. It's always go this way, whatever works, and you know, it's very cutthroat. So the fact that I've been able to maintain and have this same group of people, it's huge.
Wow.
Because the trust is there. And going back to that whole thing of having the wrong person in place, I had people in place that were making me question, are these the best people for me?
Interesting.
And I feel like loyalty is one of the strongest, biggest things that people take for granted because they're thinking about the money, they're thinking about this or that. But loyalty is so huge. Being able to trust someone is so huge. And I think that a lot of people just kind of go, you know, whatever. And like, and that's why for me to let people go is really, really hard, because I'm like, am I going to make a mistake? Am I going to regret this? You know, what's going to happen? And so sometimes I will overthink. But being able to trust somebody and being able to have the right people in your corner is really huge. And it is a big key to happiness and joy and peace.
Wow. That's powerful, man. I love that you talked about therapy, and I know you've talked about this in different interviews. I speak about it a lot on this show. Just my journey of healing and therapy and lessons I've learned and mistakes I've made. And I feel like it's been so beneficial to creating more clarity and peace inside of me by having a place to talk about challenges, pains, frustrations, upsets, things like that. What would you say are the 3 most powerful things you've learned through the therapy that you've done?
Again, being able to question myself. I know I'm not always right, and I will never claim to always be right. And that's one thing that I had to learn by going that, you know what, just because you're popular, just because people like you, doesn't mean you're always right. And I was writing that for a minute, and I had to come with the reality that, you know what, dude, no, you're not always right. And you know, that's a tough one to swallow right there.
Especially when you're selling out arenas and people are laughing at everything you say.
It's hard to, it's hard to admit that, because when you're doing all these great things, like, are you kidding? You're in magazines, you're the top Forbes, maker of the year type of thing. You're selling out stadiums. You're doing all kinds of crazy. You know, you got a freaking car collection that, you know, that Jay Leno's like, wow, like, you're doing all these amazing things. So to be able to feel like, really, I'm wrong, you know, it's hard. It took me a minute to get that. But I admit it all the time now, man. Well, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. So I definitely feel like that was huge, being able to learn that, because I feel like I did need to learn, and nobody would tell me.
Really?
That's another thing. Once you're at a certain place where the wheels are moving really well and money is good at keeping people, hey, let's keep this going here. You know, don't nobody tell them anything. Don't ruffle feathers. Don't upset them, because if we mess this up, you know, so who's going to tell me I'm wrong? And that's a tough one. I had to figure that one out. Nobody said you're wrong, because they're not. None of this, we're not going to mess any of this up.
Right. We don't want to stop the money machine that's coming in right now.
And everything that's happening. So, but I can be wrong in business. I can be wrong in relationships. And I've been wrong in both.
Yeah.
I've made decisions where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that didn't work out right.
Right.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe, and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.